Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I'm said host Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the latest Xbox news for the week of September 25th, 2025, including Xbox hardware prices are increasing again, Hideo Kojima's long-awaited Xbox game has been shown for the first time, Black Ops 7 is looking better and better as the internet dogmatically lambasts it, all that and more. On this week in Xbox history, actually this day in Xbox history, in the year 2007, 18 years ago, one of the top 5 greatest video games of all time was released. That is, of course, Halo 3 for the Xbox 360. Happy Halo 3 18th anniversary. Oh my god, this game will be 20 years old in 2027. That is just freaking wild. But of course, rather than dwelling on the, I'm getting old thing as per usual, we're going to celebrate Halo 3, a game that is just so deeply beloved. Man, there are a few games, and obviously this is like, it's the perfect storm because Halo 3 came out when I was 12, 13. So, I mean, it's just, like, what are you going to do? I mean, it's not even that Halo 3 necessarily was that great of a game. It's that it's like the combination of it having been as much of an event as it was, paired with the age I was and the place in my life I was in. It's like, you're never going to top that. I mean, you can make a new game that is 10,000 times better than Halo Infinite, but if it's not that time, that place, it's never going to get topped. So, I mean, the nostalgia factor alone. But the thing about Halo 3 is, like, it kind of is one of those games. It's not just that, like, I was the right age at the right time. It also is just that it was one of those games. I mean, I think people widely consider this. I mean, it's like people talk about Super Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario World as like one of those games, I think during the 2000s, Halo 3 is one of those games. Grand Theft Auto 3, one of those games. There's a couple of them out there, it's not about how good of the game it is on like a critic scale, like, it has a Metacritic score of 98. It's not like that. It's like, it's how much of a cultural moment that game was. And Halo 3 is just one of those cultural moments, regardless of whether Halo 2's better, okay, whatever. Halo 2 is also kind of a cultural moment, but really, to me, it's like Halo 3 was such a moment because it felt like the finale to this really, really special thing. I mean, when you really think about Halo 3, it was like really the only reason to live during the American, colonization and invasion of Iraq. So, I mean, really, like, you think about like the early 2000s. I mean, we had like post grunge music on the radio. We had Mountain Dew Livewire, but the Simpsons movie. But aside from like these few things, really, there was not a whole lot more to live for than like Halo 3. So it's one of those things like, Transformers was hitting the theaters. Breaking Benjamin was all the rage. Kids weren't listening to Kid Cudi or whatever is popular now. I think Kid Cudi's been out for like a decade at this point. But anyway, you get the idea. Halo 3 was just such a monumental moment in time, and I'll never forget. We didn't actually buy Halo 3 right at launch because this was during the tail end of when Blockbuster still existed, and my dad worked for Blockbuster, so we were able to rent games and movies for free. But not only was that a cool perk, but we were able to usually get video games rented about 3 days or so before they even came out. So like the store would get it like a week in advance, and then employees could rent them about 3 days before the street date. So there was a couple of games where it's like, as a kid, I thought I was the coolest kid in the world because I was playing this game just a few days before everyone else. Spider-Man 2, the video game, was definitely one of those games. And Halo 3 was another one where we got to play Halo 3. It was kind of a pain in the ass. We didn't get to play it until like one day before it came out, but we got to play it like the night before it came out. And I just remember thinking like this was the coolest shit in the world. And then I remember going to school and like everyone was talking about it. It was just like all the rage. And then that weekend, one of my good buddies was having a birthday party. So me and all the kids from school, like spent the weekend at his house. And like, we just fucking stayed up all night eating Domino's pizza and playing Halo 3. I remember what a very, very special moment in time that was. It's like, aside from the fact that the game is also just pretty much immaculate, it's like, how you ever going to top that? So shout out to Halo 3, 18 years old. You don't look a day over 2007. So I just, Master Chief Chief, I want to spread those master cheeks, you beautiful bastard, and all the other nice things you're supposed to say on Halo Day. But yeah, I really love this game, obviously, if you can't tell. And it'll always just be such a special one. So good way to start the podcast. Remember when Xbox was not good, not great, but like awesome, like when it was like a cultural thing, you know? Like, remember when Xbox was so fucking cool, Xbox Live and Halo 3, and like, dude, in 2007, if you were like, I play Uncharted for the PlayStation 3, people would be like, you're gay and you're a nerd. And it was awesome because they were probably right and you were a gay nerd. But now in like 2025, if you're like, I play Halo Infinite on the Xbox Series X, people will be like, you're a gay nerd and you're playing on an overpriced Xbox. And they're right. You are a gay nerd playing on an overpriced Xbox. So just, you know, the way the tables have turned and time has changed all things. It's just, you know, it's okay. Time, you know, change is inevitable, but it's sometimes, you know, for us late millennial, early Gen Z kids like myself, it can be hard to grip with this reality. So anyway, shout out to Halo 3. Guys, there are new games that come out. Halo 3 wasn't the last game released. We do get new games like this week, for example. Silent Hill F is out, actually, as the day this podcast goes live. I have no interest in this game. I don't care. I've heard decent things, like this is a game people were surprised wasn't bad. I actually haven't been keeping tabs on it too much. I forget who's making it. Isn't this that Silent Hill game that's being made by like a Taiwanese developer that's like never made a game before or something? There's like some interesting factoid about it. I don't remember, but I don't care about Silent Hill F, and I'm sorry, Cronky, if you want to write in and educate us all, please, by all means do. But there is a game coming out this week that I do care a great deal about, and that is EA Sports FC 26. No, just kidding. Not because it's not coming out. It is coming out this Friday. EA Sports FC 26, which is just FIFA 2026, is coming out. I don't give a shit about that either, but there is a game, and this time I'm not joking, there is a game coming out this week that I do care about a lot. And listen, if you haven't guessed by now, then you're not a real fan of Xbox On, but this is, of course, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, which is out as of the day this podcast goes live. All right, confession time. I played the beta for this game a couple weekends ago when it took place, and here's the thing. I am not in the mood, and I am not in the headspace for a game like this. It just is not resonating with me at all. Now, I really liked all the previous Sonic racing games, but especially the last two. The most recent one came out in 2019. It was called Team Sonic Racing, and I really liked that one. A lot of people were disappointed in that one because they moved away from the other Sega characters and really just honed in on Sonic exclusively, which I actually liked that about the game, but I know a lot of people didn't like it. That game had a fucking kick-ass soundtrack, and it was really good. And this game is the fourth Sonic racing game, although the first two entries were Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing. Now there's Sonic Racing. But anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. This game is getting really great reviews, actually. In fact, IGN's review was like, hey, this game is better than Mario or Mario Kart World, which I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting praise. But listen, here's the thing: is I played the beta, and if you liked the previous Sonic racing games, it's great. You'll still like this game, and this game does some really cool things, like where, like in a standard race, it'll be like you'll pick a track, right, and then lap one will be the course, and then lap 2 will be the course again, and then lap 3, like a random cosmic ring will teleport everyone to a new track, and then you'll race the third lap like on a different track altogether, and it's randomized, so every time you race you can play on like a combination of different tracks. And then on like lap 1 there might be a water section when you turn into a boat, and then lap 2 there might be a flight section when you turn into an airplane, you turn into a flight. But you know it's just really cool. It's a very unique game from its mechanic standpoint, and how the map design or the track design is just really, really cool, and it races and feels and plays just as well as the previous Sonic racing games. So it's a cool game, and if I was in the mood for a kart racer, I think this game would be a day one purchase, really scratching an itch. But the thing is, I haven't been in the mood for a kart racer in like quite a while. And this year, I was like, yeah, sure, Mario Kart World, I'm excited about the Switch too. And then Mario Kart World was like good, but it wasn't like lighting my world on fire. And I realized it wasn't that Mario Kart World wasn't good or anything. It was that it was like, I just kind of don't care about a kart racer right now. And then lately, ever since Battlefield 6, I've really been in this like fuck everything but Battlefield and Call of Duty mood, where I'm really feeling my multiplayer military FPS kind of stuff right now. And so, that Team Sonic Racing stuff is just not doing it for me. So Sonic Cross Worlds, it's a game I will play, no doubt. But I'll probably wait. It's a Sega game, so God knows by Christmas time I'll be able to get it for $35. It's a game I'm going to wait and buy and play later. I know there will be a time where this speaks to me when I'm in a Sonic mood again or something. So that's cool. That will be there for me. But yeah, generally I'm a day one guy for anything Sonic, but this one I feel okay waiting. Whatever. If it was a new 3D Sonic game, if it was like Sonic Frontiers 2, I'd be all over that shit. But this, I feel like I can wait. So it's exciting. It's notable. But I guess really more than anything, it's a testament to two things. One, it's just a busy time of year. There's so many fucking good games to play. And two, it's, I think it's really important, especially the older you get and the more limited your free time becomes. It's okay. It doesn't make me any less of a Sonic fan to be like, hey, I'm going to play that game later when the mood strikes me and when it feels right. I don't, I'm not a prolific influencer or media personnel. Like my day job is so incredibly unrelated to this podcast and video games at large. It's not like it fucking matters if I play Sonic Racing Cross Worlds today or next year. None of it fucking matters. It's all just for my pure enjoyment and nothing beyond that. So I think it's important to, especially as you get older and your free time becomes more limited, to be like, hey, I love Sonic the Hedgehog. Normally I'd be all over this, but I'm not really feeling this right now. And that's okay. It'll be here when the time comes, if the time comes. In the meantime, you just gotta, your free time is so precious, it's so limited. You just gotta do what feels good with your free time, like feed the beast that is that's satiating that or scratching that itch on your brain that makes you feel like, oh, this is a fun use of my very, very limited free time. God, work has kept me so fucking busy lately. I got another big move at work recently that has just definitely found a way to keep me very, very distracted from my personal life and my free time, which is great because I like my job a lot and my career's moving, but horrible in the sense that, man, oh man, I really don't have sufficient time for much else, including, unfortunately, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. So it's all good. It's a good problem to have. When life is moving and shaking and good things are happening and good things are coming and going, and you got to make sacrifices, man. It's like, do I have a family or do I play Sonic Racing Cross Worlds? And sometimes, you just tell your wife, get that abortion because daddy's got to play Sonic. I don't got time for bottle feeding. Anyway, guys, that's what were we talking about? Oh yeah, abort your babies unless they're blue hedgehogs because they probably won't yield financially beneficial results otherwise. Guys, let's talk about the news. Oh, let's talk about the news, boys. There's not a whole lot to get into. In fact, I kind of cut out a couple things because I'm like, really more and more. Speaking of like being respectful of your time and just really choosing wisely, it's like, again, this podcast, Xbox On, is not a comprehensive one-stop shop go-to for all things Xbox. It is an Xbox podcast for a very, very unofficial, informal, just everyday Xbox fan. And so, I don't really feel like talking about how GDC changed their name. So we're not going to talk about how GDC changed their name because I don't fucking give a shit. What I do give a shit about is how Xbox is raising their prices on consoles yet again. So let's all get angry about this together, shall we? All right. So from VGC, Microsoft is increasing the price of Xbox consoles in the USA again, just 5 months after its last price increase. The company announced back in May that it was increasing prices of consoles globally, including increasing the Series S and X consoles by $80 and $100 respectively. Not respectfully. It was very disrespectful the way they raised the prices. I believe they slapped the ass of the Xbox Series S as they raised its price. So it was very disrespectful. Anyway, now that it's been announced that they're raising the prices even further, but only in the US this time. So to all you Finnish listeners out there, darn you. All right, so They say that this time it's due to changes in macroeconomic environment or changes in the macroeconomic environment. So according to a newly updated page, on a support page on Xbox's website, the price increase will take effect October 3rd. So if you still want to get Xbox Series S or X at the slightly increased price, but not drastically increased price, you got a couple days to do so. So take this next week and go buy yourself an Xbox. But both the 512 gigabyte and 1 terabyte models of the Series S will see a $20 increase on top of the $80 increase that they received in May, while the Series X and X digital consoles will see a $50 further price increase. The biggest increase is for the 2 terabyte Series X Black Edition or Galaxy Black Edition, which will get a $70 increase on top of its previous $130 increase, meaning it will be $200 more. It will now cost $800 fucking US dollars instead of $600 as it originally did, which is more expensive than the PS5 Pro, which also comes with a 2 terabyte storage device. So that is really just Xbox's way of saying, fuck you, do not buy an Xbox. Hey, you know how everyone everywhere pretty much prefers PlayStation to Xbox? Well, what if we told you we have an older, more technologically inferior device that has the same amount of storage but less technical capability and can play fewer games than a PlayStation 5? And what if we told you you could have that for only more money than a PlayStation 5, for $50 more than a PlayStation 5 Pro? And people would go, well, that sounds horrible. And Xbox goes, well, then don't buy our fucking console. And that's how they killed the Xbox right there. So the Series S went from $400 is now $400, up from $380, and its original price was $300. The Series S 1 terabyte is at $450, originally at $350, but then upped to $429.99. So I can't believe a Series S, or let's say this. I can't believe the original Series S has gone from $300 to $400. That is insane. The Series X Digital Edition, which was originally $450, that's not right. Oh, digital. Yeah, $450 has now at $600. And the classic Xbox Series X, which was originally $500, is now at $650. The 2 terabyte version is $800, up from its original $600 price tag. So if you like Xboxes at a reasonable price, too fucking bad. Time travel back to 2020, baby. So Microsoft says the price of controllers, headsets, and other accessories will remain the same. The console prices in other countries outside the US will also remain unchanged. Well, it's important to note that the overwhelming majority of Xbox's business is English-speaking territories, and of those countries, the very most important one for them is the United States. So, you know, they can kind of salvage in other countries by making the US take on the majority of the price increase. But I don't know if it has anything to do with that, or if it has to do with as they say, macroeconomic conditions. It's listen, you can't ever listen to anything these companies say and take it at face value. You never really know. The reason could be the reason they say, it could be something else. And really, we're not doing ourselves a whole lot of service by trying to speculate here. The thing I want to say is, it does seem apparent more than ever before that Microsoft is trying to kill this hardware off. All right, let's look at it a couple different ways. We talked about, long before tariffs and price increases, long before PlayStation 5 Pro even came out, that, when the rumors started percolating like a year or two ago about Xbox releasing a next-gen console sooner, trying to beat PlayStation to the next-gen punch by possibly releasing their next consoles as early as 2026, although I don't think that's the plan anymore. But when that was originally the plan and Windows Central was reporting on it and all that stuff, I think that it made a lot of sense, and we all kind of talked about and got used to this idea that Xbox hardware was going to become very boutique and therefore very expensive, because Game Pass and the push to being on all platforms and everything, and Xbox everywhere and all that, was going to drive the attention away from the hardware and towards a more evergreen, accessible on multiple screens and multiple devices kind of approach, and that Xbox as a console will always exist, but it will become some boutique thing like a Surface computer, where if you want to run Windows 11, you can buy a $400 Lenovo, or you could buy a $2,000 Surface tablet. The choice is completely yours, but if you want the premium, ultra luxury, most classic iteration and idealized version of that experience, you can get Microsoft's hardware. Otherwise, there's other places you can play. You can play your Xbox games on a goddamn Nokia tablet that costs $150 on Amazon through cloud streaming, or you can buy yourself a nice Series X console that costs an arm and a leg, but hey, games are going to run natively and look great on that machine. So I think, that was the argument back then. I guess I just didn't expect them to take that approach and apply it retroactively to the current generation before we even get to the next generation, because even if the idea behind it is the same, I think the message it sends is entirely different. Because to go back on a piece of hardware that already exists and that is already struggling in the market, that's already getting pummeled by its competition, and then to continuously raise the price, not just to keep up with inflation, but also to a point where it's embarrassingly outpricing its competition that is outselling it 3-1, and outperforming it with higher specs. I mean, that is just blatantly ignoring market conditions, because if Xbox was aggressive about trying to get more Xboxes into homes and sell consoles and make the console business a viable part of their strategy with Xbox, they would be willing to eat some shit on tariffs to remain price competitive with PlayStation, but they're choosing not to do that. And that shows a blatant disregard for the hardware initiative at Xbox. And again, as we see Microsoft focus more and more on, fuck you, we just want AI. Fuck you, we just want to be a publisher. Xbox is all about, currently, being the biggest games publisher out there, which they are. And then forcing more of Microsoft's AI bullshit, because unfortunately, one of the things Xbox is deeply struggling with right now is that Microsoft is a company that has no identity. They never really have been, and that's more apparent than ever before, because Satya Nadella, who's a great businessman, who's great at making money, is a horrible CEO from the standpoint of trying to build a company that has a vision and has a creative endeavor of any sort whatsoever. I mean, Microsoft is a very mature, publicly traded corporation, one of the highest values corporations of all time. And they don't have an obligation to be creative and be daring and be innovative and be boundary pushing with the software and technology that they bring to the consumer market or to industry. They have an obligation to make money for shareholders and nothing else. And Satya Nadella has been great at making money for shareholders and completely gutting out any part of the Microsoft identity that creates fun innovation, and interesting consumer products and services. And so I think that the unfortunate thing about Xbox is, Xbox was this nobody gives a shit about it little pet project during the OG Xbox era. And then the Xbox 360 era, it was like, if we beat PlayStation to the punch with this generation and take all the network and software and advantages we have and bake it into a console, we can come up with something that's very powerful, very forward thinking, very boundary pushing. And this little pet project team was able to make something really impressive and highly successful with the Xbox 360. It was a perfect storm of things that led to that device, and it became such a smash success for Microsoft. But then you look at the Xbox One generation, and that was a device that launched in a time and a place where Xbox had garnered enough attention that it was still this small little who gives a shit about it kind of product, but it was enough of a thing that maybe sometimes Microsoft would try to, toy with Xbox and be like, oh, do this, or why not try this with Xbox, or throw that in there, or Xbox should adhere to this current corporate strategy. And what you get is the Xbox One launched as this, and I say this as someone who loves Xbox One, but Xbox One launched as this device that felt relatively soulless compared to an Xbox 360 or an OG Xbox. And that's why a lot of people got rubbed wrong by the Xbox One, is because it felt like the byproduct of an era of Windows that was all about trying to compete with Apple. Consumer friendly, Windows 8, tiles, Skype integration, the living room, experiences, Connect, all these different things that the Xbox consumer was like, I don't fucking want this. My stupid ass was like, I want this. Yes, give it to me all day, because that era of Xbox just so happened to resonate with me deeply. But then you see throughout the Xbox One life cycle that they just moved away from that, because the vision and the focus at Microsoft changed completely, and therefore Xbox got dragged down and mixed up in that shuffle. And you can see, because as you look at the latter half of the Xbox One generation, it has nothing to do with Xbox or Windows 8. It has nothing to do with consumer products. It has nothing to do with Windows Phone and Skype and what was their chat service they had? They still have, I think. Group Chat or Group Me. Had nothing to do with Group Me or any of that stuff, or Snap, or any of that shit. It wasn't about Surface devices anymore. Microsoft was all about Azure, cloud technology, services, Microsoft 365, and then you go into the Xbox One generation, or rather the Series S and X generation, and it's like kind of a little bit about that, but they're also like, let's try and, as a much more corporate division than it once was, 20 years ago, let's try to do Xbox a solid and focus more on the games. And so Xbox One or Series S and X come out the gate, and they're like, games, powerful hardware, players at the center of the universe. And then within 18 months, the whole thing falls apart. Game Pass subscriptions are flat. The console's selling kind of well, but oh no, PlayStation's destroying it. Nobody gives a shit. Okay, here's Halo. Oh, we fucked up Halo. It fell flat on its face. All right, now what do we do? And then in the background, Microsoft as a company is changing again. And now it's like Azure, fuck Azure. Consumer products, fuck consumer products. You know what's big? AI. AI is the advent, it's the next frontier. It's the next advent. It is the next smartphone. It is the next internet. It's the next opportunity. And Microsoft wants so badly to not fuck up like they did with smartphones. And they want to be at the forefront. They want to be a big player. And they want to beat Meta. And they want to beat all the fucking companies that are doing AI. Who gives a shit? And they're just throwing all this money. Now it's all Copilot. Copilot is your friend. Fuck Surface devices. Panos Panay is gone. Fuck Xbox. We just bought Activision because we have no goddamn identity. We have no game plan. And now we're too fucking big to not pay attention to Xbox. And so now we have to run this thing like a profitable business. And you know how we can make it profitable? By taking all these goddamn Activision games and the occasional Gears of War title and throwing that shit on PlayStation, a platform that actually has vision, that has integrity, that has a plan in place for their fucking product. And we can sell it to those motherfuckers because those stupid consumers will buy it. And then they do. And then they're like, okay, well then why the fuck do we have this console? Because all we care about is making AI show you naked pictures of that girl you saw on the subway today that you awkwardly snapped a photo of, and now you want to make her naked. It's like, okay, well that's what Microsoft cares about now. We don't care about Xbox. We don't care about Windows Phone. We don't care about the consumer. We don't care about great games. We don't care about a closed ecosystem that remains competitive with PlayStation and gives people a real reason to go away from their product and come over to ours. We just want data. We just want your data. We want you to engage with our products and engage with our services like Game Pass, regardless of what device you're on. We'll collect all your fucking data. As long as you have a Microsoft account linked to some stupid bullshit service, we'll collect your data, and then we'll have more users, and we can do more shit with AI, and then we can push more bullshit onto you, and then the fucking government will take more of your powers and liberties and freedoms away and pretend to be about the people as they silence free speech, and then you'll have a fucking Microsoft subscription and a Disney Plus subscription, and nobody gives a shit, and then we'll just bomb some brown people in the Middle East, and you'll say, hey, Xbox, what was this all about? And then the guy with 12 podcast listeners will say, hey guys, remember how great Halo 3 was? That game's 18 years old. And you'll be like, I used to love Xbox. I used to play awesome games like Grab by the Ghoulies and Recore. But then one day, all I remember was taking pictures of girls and plugging it into AI to make naked pictures. And be like, well, I use AI because I can't make friends with anyone in real life, and I want AI to be my best friend. And then AI told me to kill myself, and then some guy kills himself, and he's on the news and like, is AI telling lonely young men to kill themselves? Yes. And then Microsoft says, we don't care. We want more data. We want more data. And so you feed them more data. You take them out to all you can eat data buffet, and they're selfish pigs, and they just keep eating all the data. And then the manager of the restaurant says, sorry, you got to go. And then Satya Nadella says, excuse me, I paid $7.87 to be at this all you can eat buffet. And he says, yes, but you can't eat this much food. And he says who? Says me, I'm the manager. And then Satya Nadella makes an ugly mess, and he gets mad, and he starts throwing stuff, and they kick him out of the restaurant. Then the news catches wind of it, and they put on the news and they say Satya Nadella caught getting angry at a restaurant at all you can eat data buffet, and then it's a bad look for Microsoft. But thankfully Microsoft is lobbying to the politicians, so the politicians censor the media outlets for covering the news story to begin with, and then all the newscasts, they get fired, they get depleted of their resources and their platform, and then Satya Nadella rises back to power, and now he has your data, he's got power, he controls the media, he controls the government, and then Xbox continues to be this shell of of a thing it once was, and you say, well, what do we got to look forward to on Xbox? And you say, you know what you got to look forward on Xbox, on the Xbox platform, we got to look forward to? Call of Duty Black Ops 7, that's right. It's the 7th entry in the Black Ops series. And the best part is, we're developing it using AI technology. And that's Xbox, the end. So, yeah, try getting that kind of fucking, that kind of pundit analysis from IGN, you fucking idiot. You won't. I bet you won't. I don't know, man. I just, we don't need to tread the same water for the millionth time, but it's just sad. They don't care about Xbox. They clearly don't care about Xbox. I think the idea at this point is we're not going to sell this device at a loss. You know, it's going to become this boutique thing, and we got to make money off of it. You know, for every Xbox sold, there needs to be a profit margin in order to justify its existence. And if the demand shrinks as a result of the increased price and we're not able to sell each and every one of these consoles at a healthy profit, then we will simply get out of hardware because we can continue to sell our games on PC and on PlayStation. People can continue to stream these games on every fucking thing with a network card and an LCD display. And unfortunately, the reality of it is that is where Xbox is headed. But as I've said many times before, while the future of Xbox looks extraordinarily bleak, and while I would personally recommend to absolutely no one to buy an Xbox, I think now is a horrible time to buy an Xbox. If someone walked up to me and said, hey, Jesse, I want to play video games for the first time in my life. Should I buy PlayStation 5 or Xbox? I'd say buy PlayStation 5 all fucking day. Do not buy Xbox. And then I'll go home and continue to play my Xbox because I'm going to get the most out of this shit while it's still here. But I know I'm like the fucking violinist on the Titanic with the rest of the band, with the rest of the orchestra playing out as the ship is sinking. I'm going down with this motherfucking ship because I'm going to extract every ounce of value left from. Listen, one of my biggest regrets in life is that I didn't go down with the Windows Phone shit. I could have, but you know where I was in 2015 when the last Windows Phone came out? I was on iPhone 6. I was on iPhone 6. And Windows Phone needed me. Anyway, I'm not going to do to Xbox what I did to Windows Phone. I learned my lesson. I have to live with my decisions. Can you live with your decisions? Creepy guy that takes pictures of girls in public and then plugs them into AI and says, can you make them naked? And then the AI says yes, because the government thinks we shouldn't regulate AI whatsoever. And then you get naked pictures of girls in public. That's fucking sick. You're a sicko. You're a freak. All right, guys, let's move on. Oh yeah, Hideo Kojima is making a whole bunch of games, and we finally got to look at one of them. So before Xbox inevitably cancels this game, let's talk about OD. So Kojima Productions has premiered a new look at its Xbox-published horror game, OD. Speaking during a live stream event held at Tokyo, Hideo Kojima claimed that OD, which is now has a subtitle because Japanese game, which the subtitle is Knock, so it's called OD Knock, is a completely new gaming experience running in Unreal Engine 5, an engine that is notoriously giving lots of games lots of problems. So that's cool. This is a special system, says Hideo Kojima. Even the infrastructure is totally new. Nobody has ever done this before, so I'm repeating tests and experiments, and we can't speak anymore. There are lots of hints in the video. Microsoft head of gaming Phil Spencer also appeared on stage and claimed that OD was a bold, unique, and unmistakably from this studio. He said, we're deeply supporting the production. It's our technical work with Unreal that we're doing with the team, both with the flashy stuff you see on screen, but also with the stuff behind the scenes. We have one goal in mind, which is to bring Kojima's vision to life for players everywhere, and we can't wait for players to experience when it's ready. When it was announced in 2023, Kojima called OD a new form of media, with game designer collaborating with movie director Jordan Peele, which also stars Hunter Schafer, Yudo Kire, who gives a shit, and Sophia Lillis. During the same 10th anniversary event on Thursday, Kojima Productions also premiered their first look at art for its PlayStation stealth game that's in development called Fizzant, which also revealed a new augmented reality game in collaboration with Niantic, which is Pokemon Go people, which I assume is for mobile devices. But yeah, so I just that last part's important because it seems like. So Death Stranding 2 is out now. what do they call it? Death Stranding 2, Sex on the Beach. So Death Stranding 2 is their big game that they've been working on for the past 5-6 years. And now that that game is out, they are in active production on 3 other games. So I can't help but feel like the fact that they still refer to OD as like some kind of experience, something new and different, and the fact that Death Stranding just came out and OD is deep into development and well under development. And they have 2 other projects, one with PlayStation, one on mobile, in development, leads me to believe that OD is not going to be a new game from Hideo Kojima. It leads me to believe it's going to be a new game from, a new experience, a new interactive experience from Hideo Kojima. It might be something that you play for a couple hours. It might be something that you play for a dozen hours, but it's very minimal in its interaction. I just don't see this game as being a full-blown regular game. That being said, having finally seen the game in action, having gotten a trailer for the game, I gotta say, the thing that probably everyone's going to say, this game looks like it is deeply inspired by the canceled Silent Hill project that Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro were working on back in, 2015, 14, that got canceled. So that's fucking awesome. It seems like there's some kind of spiritual continuation of that game within whatever the fuck this is. But yes, the visuals and the cutscene they showed and the in-engine stuff looks fucking amazing. It looks really impressive, really visually cool. It's in a first-person perspective, kind of like the new Resident Evil games and like Silent Hill was. And it just shows like this hand pick up a car. The card says some stuff on it. Girl or person protagonist opens this door, walks into like an apartment, pans over. Everything looks insanely realistic. Goes over these candles, starts lighting up candles, and then one of the candles is like a little skull and it starts bleeding because Hideo Kojima. And then the fidelity in the graphics would just look absolutely out of this world, amazing. And then it shows the girl and they're gasping, and then they do the scream thing, and then it's back to that teaser they showed from 2023 where it's just a bunch of faces screaming, and then it like shows the OD knock, a new game from Hideo Kojima now in development. But yes, this game or project or experience, it's something I'm really excited to see, just because I think Xbox lacks those kinds of artsy collaborations, and when they get them, they kind of overdo them, like Hellblade 2, a very unnecessary sequel, or they land something that's not artsy necessarily, but something that is very popular with the critic games industry crowd, like a Hi-Fi Rush, and then they shut down the studio. I feel like this would be a great opportunity for Xbox to get something that is like seen as like a win, like something they could win a BAFTA award for, something that's like high art or classier. And it's really cool to see Xbox kind of have something like that, but you just know that this game is going to come to PlayStation 6 months after it comes to Xbox. So it's going to be a short-lived victory for Xbox. Again, OD is one of those remnants from the era where Xbox didn't own Activision, but they were trying desperately to make Xbox this amazing closed ecosystem with tons of great games. And OD is one of those casualties where it's like, man, if we were sticking to the vision Xbox had 5 years ago, this would be an amazing get for them. But now we look at it and we're like, oh yeah, the next Hideo Kojima game will be available on all platforms, just like it would have been if it were 2006 and it was a Hideo Kojima game being made by Konami. So it's like the fact that we live in this world now where Xbox games inevitably come to PlayStation games, it's like it really feels more like a third-party game being released. It feels like Hideo Kojima is making a game for all platforms on the market, and Xbox is publishing it. It kind of has more of that feeling. So it's like, after so many years of Hideo Kojima being this PlayStation affiliated name and brand, you guys got something exclusive on Xbox, but just in time for you guys to no longer give a shit about that and just put that product on PlayStation anyway. So obviously they haven't announced it for PlayStation yet, but come on, we know it's coming. All right, so let's move on. So, speaking of PlayStation, they just held today, as of the day I'm recording this, a State of Play event, which is like a Nintendo Direct for PlayStation, and they announced a bunch of things, and usually when they announce stuff, some of that stuff is relevant to Xbox as well. So, I do want to say that for the first time ever, Microsoft showed a game at a PlayStation at a PlayStation State of Play. It was Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, so they showed a trailer for it on PlayStation, and then announced not only is this Xbox game coming to PlayStation, but it is better on PlayStation than it is on Xbox, because it's going to have PlayStation VR 2 support. Because why not? Why not just constantly make every Xbox game not only available on PlayStation, but also better on PlayStation? So that was shown, that was announced, and that is coming out. Let me go back. That's coming to PlayStation on December 8th. And then additionally, some other games that were shown. They announced, they showed a Battlefield 6 campaign trailer, which was pretty cool. But, I don't really want to get into that because I'm so excited for Battlefield 6. It's like, yeah, just ignore that. The game will be out soon. Let's look forward to that. They showed a rumored game that was announced by Ilphonic, Halloween the game. So Halloween, the popular horror movie franchise. There's going to be a licensed isometric, or not isometric, but what am I trying to say? Anyway, a horror game, those fucking 3v1 whatever style horror games like Dead by Daylight, and they made the one for Texas Chainsaw Massacre and all that stuff. Like they're gonna make another one of those, but this one is for the horror franchise Halloween, and they announced this coming out next September, so 2026. This game will come out. It's a little early for announcement for a game that's coming out so much later. Now, I have no love for this franchise at all. I know it's a classic horror franchise. That's very, very widely, like basic reading essentially for horror fans. But I have no interest whatsoever for this IP. But I gotta say, I really think this game looks pretty because it's got like that, that nighttime fall up north kind of crisp fall air, trees, leaves fall in Halloween night kind of feel. But then of course it gets all spooky and scary, and I honestly have nothing to say about the game. I don't care about it. I know it's going to be a guy plays as what's his name? Fucking Jason, right? That's his name. And then the other guys try to run and not die, and then you kill them, and then they die, and then it's multiplayer, and then whatever. We see these games all the time. I liked that Evil Dead one that came out a few years ago, but I got nothing to say about these. It's like, it's kind of tired at this point because we're just going to get this same game for all of these movies at some point. So I know for fans, this is probably a cool thing to get, and I'm happy for those people, but I'm not going to sit here and act like this does anything for me. I'm a little surprised to see they're announcing it so soon, or, a full year before it comes out. But that being said, I think people will be excited about this one. Seems like there's a decent sized niche audience for those. Also, they showed, Dynasty Warriors 3 Complete Edition Remaster, which comes out on March 19th next year. So that they showed a new trailer for that. That is coming to Xbox Series consoles. And then there was one more I wanted to talk about. They showed Crimson Desert and Code Vein 2. That was the other one. Code Vein. So those games all got new trailers. So additional looks at some multi-platform games that were shown at the State of Play event from PlayStation. So that's cool. So we got some updates on those games if you're interested in any of those. But that's really it for the State of Play. I was kind of hoping for more multi-platform stuff, but all I really give a shit about, if I'm being completely honest, was they showed the Wolverine video game, which just looks fucking awesome. I cannot wait for that game to come to PC so I can play it. But other than that was our PlayStation Direct event, since everything is, whatever, everything PlayStation matters for Xbox and vice versa, especially vice versa. Guys, let's start to round out the news with just a few more. Really just a few more. So I want to talk about Call of Duty Black Ops 7. So Black Ops 7 has been getting the multiplayer zombies rollout launch information like crazy because they're starting to do the marketing rollout for this game as we get close to Call of Duty Next. But most importantly, next weekend starts the beta for Black Ops 7. So if you're a Game Pass subscriber or you pre-order the game, I think you have to get just any version of the game pre-ordered, you get to play the beta from next Thursday the 2nd, a week from today, the day this podcast goes live, until Sunday the 5th. And if you don't pre-order it, anyone can play it on the 6th, 7th, and 8th, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is kind of bullshit. Usually you split it between 2 weekends. I think this is kind of bullshit that they're like, everyone can play it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but if you want to play it over the weekend, you got to pre-order it. I get that's an intentional thing. That's how they're going to try to incentivize people to pre-order, but I think that's a little slimy to do it that way instead of split it between 2 weekends like they normally would. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. So they showed the full reveal trailer for the multiplayer and for the zombies content in this game. And I gotta be honest with you guys. Now, again, I am with the majority. I think Battlefield 6 looks a lot better than Call of Duty Black Ops 7. I am absurdly hyped for Battlefield 6. I'm living for October 10th. I mean, we got Battlefield 6, we got Yellow Card releasing a new record, and we got Tron Ares coming out all on the same day. A new Tron movie, a new Yellow Card record, and Battlefield 6. Like, I'm fucking through the goddamn moon on this one. Like, I'm gonna be like staying up late, midnight showing of Tron, go home, sleep in, wake up, spend the whole fucking day playing Battlefield 6 while listening to new Yellow Card songs. I mean, like, this is a day that like the world came together to curate a cacophony of pop culture, media, entertainment consumption garbage for me and me specifically. Like, I feel so blessed that this day is soon to be upon us. And I'll be fucking honest with you. I took a day off work. I'm burning a vacation day for this occasion. Like, this trifecta. Like, this is me. Like, I don't want to mince words here. Like, I'm hyped about Battlefield 6. Think the game looks fucking awesome. Super excited about that. But totally separate from that, I do just want to reiterate, because as someone who's very tuned into this stuff right now, because this is what I'm in the mood for, and as someone who's just generally a big first-person shooter fan and a Call of Duty fan, I gotta say, I think Black Ops 7, while not the coolest Call of Duty ever, I think it looks pretty fucking good. And I think the internet is being very much the internet. There's a lot of mob mentality and a lot of like just lack of personal autonomy going on with kind of like the takes on things. Like, don't get me wrong, Battlefield 6 looks amazing, but like, people are so obnoxious. It's like, come on, guys. We still hate, everyone still hates EA. Everyone's still ready to be at DICE's throat if something with Battlefield 6 is less than perfect. We know how it works. You're in the good graces now because the internet has deemed you worthy. But the second season 1 comes out, or the game's 3 months old, and they do one minor update or tweak or things that people aren't like super excited about, it's going to go from Battlefield 6 is amazing to Battlefield 6 is a piece of shit. And here's a 40-minute YouTube editorial about how they dropped the ball. So like, we know how this works, and Call of Duty is receiving kind of a similar thing where Black Ops 7 is just the victim of the Battlefield 6 hype, where the millions of people who buy Call of Duty every fucking year are going to buy Black Ops 7 and make it the most successful game of the year regardless. But the internet, which is this obnoxious echo chamber that never shuts the fuck up and just is this very, very loud minority of people, has the conversation completely depicted that Black Ops 7 is some huge COD is dead, Activision, you're so pathetic, this game is so baked, blah, blah, blah. It's like, come on, dude, shut up. And here's the honest to God truth. I don't know. Maybe pre-order numbers are weaker than they normally are for Call of Duty. Who cares? The game's going to be fine. Activision will be fine. They'll still make hand over fist money on this game. But that being said, the fact that their marketing rollout for this game has been like kind of bending the knee to the Call of Duty fans and being like, yeah, we're going to really focus on trying to improve our anti-cheat. Yeah, we're really going to focus on making sure the skins that are available for purchase of the game look like they're grounded in the Call of Duty universe. Yeah, we're going to be focused on having heavy support throughout each seasonal drop throughout this game's life cycle, because we know Black Ops 6 didn't really do it for you. Like, the fact that they're trying to address all these concerns with this game really shows that, like, if you like Call of Duty, but you have the gripes of X, Y, and Z, then Black Ops 7 is going to address those gripes and be another Call of Duty game. I mean, listen, nothing is a guarantee. It's possible this game comes out and it's a broken piece of shit. But Call of Duty is about as consistent and reliable as it gets in the world of video games. They say like life, death, and taxes. You might as well add Call of Duty to that mix, because listen, even on the worst years, like games like Call of Duty Vanguard and Ghosts, which I actually never played, but I know a lot of people hate it. It's like Call of Duty's still pretty reliable, schlocky fun. Some years it's amazing. Some years you get Black Ops 2 or Cold War or World at War or Modern Warfare 2 or whatever, right? Sometimes you get those games and they're amazing. And then sometimes you get, like the most recent Modern Warfare 3 or Vanguard or whatever fucking Sledgehammer makes. And it's okay. It's a give and take. But at the very least, the base product is a really fun multiplayer first-person shooter game. That's always what you're going to get. And I just got to be honest, even though sometimes I look at Black Ops 7 and it makes me a little weary as someone who loves Black Ops 2 and hates Black Ops 3, this game makes me a little weary because they pitch it as a sequel to Black Ops 2. And for the most part, it looks like a sequel to Black Ops 2, and that's really awesome. But sometimes some things they show in this game kind of looks less like a sequel to Black Ops 2 and more like a prequel to Black Ops 3. And when I see that stuff, I'm like, ooh, that looks a little too future techy. That doesn't look near future. That looks just full-blown future. And like I'm a little apprehensive about this new jumping mechanic they're throwing into the game. So I don't think the game looks phenomenal by any means, but I think aesthetically they've totally addressed the player concern that all Call of Duties nowadays look the same. One of my big gripes with Black Ops 6 was it felt great, it was fun to play, it was a good game, but it just kind of looked and had this aesthetic of generic Call of Duty. It didn't feel like the 1990s. It didn't feel like Black Ops. It just felt like Call of Duty. You could have called it Modern Warfare and I wouldn't have known any differently. And I think Black Ops 7 really addresses that concern because this game looks unmistakably like a Black Ops game, which is cool. I think the map variety looks awesome. And, I don't know. I just think overall the game looks really good. And the zombies, they're doing the same thing. A huge complaint with zombies in Black Ops 6 is like, hey, yeah, it's round-based. It's focused on classic zombies type of maps. But, you know, it kind of just looks like a Call of Duty Warzone map with zombies played in it. And so they address that because you look at the zombies map they showed during the trailer this week, and it looks like a dark, gritty, tonal, like zombies type experience. So it's like if it can play like Black Ops 6 and look like a real Black Ops game, I think we have a win on our hands. You know, you guys address some of the anti-cheat problems and you guys, you know, add a lot more content and you have fewer Ninja Turtles and Nicki Minaj's in your game. I think we got a great Call of Duty game, unless you've been lying to yourself for 20 plus years, playing Call of Duty, hating every goddamn minute of it, but forcing yourself to play further. Unless you're somehow that kind of mentally sick person, I think if you like Call of Duty, you're probably going to be pretty pleased with Black Ops 7. It looks like it's shaping up to be one of the better recent Call of Duties. So I remain very optimistic that this game's going to be pretty good. I have a couple concerns and apprehensions, but, you know, and I'm not as excited for this game as I am for Battlefield 6, but I think Black Ops 7 looks like it's a lot better than Black Ops 6. Like, it looks like it's funny because what they did with Modern Warfare 2, 3 back to back was it was like Infinity Ward spent like 3 or 4 years making Modern Warfare 2 in 2022. And then Sledgehammer got like 15 months to kind of work with Infinity Ward to slap together an immediate sequel that released 1 year later. And what resulted was you got this really good game in Modern Warfare 2 and this really shitty slap together DLC feeling kind of nonsense that was Modern Warfare 3. But what they're doing here with the Black Ops 6 and 7 is totally different because it's Treyarch and Raven were given like 4 or 5 years to make 2 games in tandem. It's not like they made Black Ops 6 for 4 years and then got 1 year to make Black Ops 7. It's like they got 5 years to make Black Ops 6 and 7. And so again, it could change when the game comes out, but it looks like what we're getting is kind of an opposite effect where rather than Black Ops 6 being awesome and Black Ops 7 being slapped together DLC slop, it looks like what we're getting is Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was like a pretty good base game that had anemic post-launch support because during the game's post-launch, they were all hands on deck of finishing up 4 to 5 years of development of Black Ops 7. So it looks like Black Ops 7 is going to be as content complete and fully idealized or envisioned of a game as Black Ops 6 was, but it's also going to get the post-launch content and additional fine-tuning and dev support that Black Ops 6 missed out on. So if anything, I feel like we have kind of an opposite situation where the back-to-back 1-2 punch is going to go the other way around, where punch 1 is going to be a little weaker and punch 2 is going to be stronger. So I still feel like that's what we're getting here based on what I'm reading and what we're seeing here. And I think it looks great. I mean, 16 multiplayer maps at start. And the rumor is that throughout the game's life cycle, we're going to get every Black Ops 2 map remastered for this game. So they got of the 6v6 maps, all but 3 of them are original maps, and then the other 3 are remakes from Black Ops 2, which a little disappointing to say. It's Hijacked, Raid, and Express, which we've seen these maps in Call of Duty games so many times. But then they have this skirmish mode, which is like this 20v20 big scale, big team battle mode, which looks awesome. And there's 2 maps specifically for that mode. Then they showed Zombies, and Zombies looks great. It looks like it's this transit-inspired kind of sequel to Black Ops 2 style Zombies. The map looks fucking sick. And then they dropped the real kicker that for the first time ever, Black Ops Zombies will be included in the beta. So when the beta comes out from the 2nd through the 8th of next week, next week, whatever, you'll be able to play multiplayer, but you'll also be able to play Zombies, which is fucking sick, man. I can't wait, because I go on this trip starting this weekend. We get home on Thursday the 2nd. Dude, when I get home, I got to work on the podcast. But after I'm done working on the podcast, I am going to just go fucking crazy on Black Ops for like 4 days straight. And I meant to bring this up at the top of the show, but that just reminded me. So I will be, why not? Better late than never. I will be out of town next week. So instead of the podcast going live on Thursday morning at 9 a.m., it will go live a day later on Friday. I'm not entirely sure that it will be 9 a.m. on Friday. It might be a little later in the day, but the show will go live sometime on Friday. My idea is that at the absolute latest, it'll be available by like lunchtime, so that people who are driving home from work for the weekend will be able to have the podcast loaded, ready to go. But I'll remind again at the end of the podcast. But yeah, next week's podcast is going to be delayed by a day and a half, because I will be out of town and I don't want to record 2 episodes now because there's just not enough news to talk about. So I'd rather catch up and be a little late so we can have a good podcast to discuss next week. So I appreciate your guys' patience on that. But yeah, that's really going to do it for us. There's a new Yakuza 3 remaster that was announced that's coming to Xbox. I don't really care about that. But one more thing I do want to talk about as we round out is just this Perfect Dark reboot that was canceled recently. So there are some concept informations and info relating to the game that was recently like revealed and posted online. So internal documents acquired by MP First show concept art for some of the game's location as well as gameplay details. The documentation refers to the game concepts like a relentless system and reward system, but goes into more detail about another concept called the adrenaline system. According to the description, this would have made the adrenaline a finite resource that the players could regenerate over time. Having adrenaline would give the players various abilities such as healing, increased damage dealt, and reduced damage taken. Other adrenaline-like features would have included slowing down time to dodge bullets, better aiming and precision, and increased movement speed. The documentation also refers to Season 1, implying that the game may have had an episodic kind of nature, and that there may have been additional episodes released in this game following the game's release, which would have been pretty fucking interesting to see how that would have worked, although I can imagine that would have been controversial, probably. But there's also some concept art that was kind of leaked alongside this that I recommend you go online and check out. That shows like Joanne Dark and like this lab facility and stuff like that, so you can take a look at some more concept art for this game as it was coming together. I don't have much to say about this because I am eternally disappointed about this game getting canceled, and I just don't want to think about it. But for those who are disappointed like myself about this, it's just cool to know we get to learn at least a little bit more about what this game would have been, because a lot of hard work and love was poured into this game, and it will never see the light of day. So at the very least, I think we should know more about what it was we once almost had, so people can at least appreciate the ideas that were being worked on. But guys, that is really it for our news. So I'm going to take a quick water break. We'll come back, talk about the games I've been playing and all of that, and then we'll round out with some comments. So be right back, guys. All right, guys, let's get into the what I've been playing, because I actually do have a new game to tell you about that I've been playing. It's not just all Call of Duty and Battlefield over here. So before I can tell you about what I can't tell you about. Guys, I'm getting too old for this shit. Okay, so let me tell you the story. Last week, my girlfriend was out of town. She was back home visiting with her family, and I was all alone. I was living the bachelor life. So I spent a couple nights in Lakeland, Florida after work, because the Lakeland Flying Tigers, which is a single A minor league baseball single A affiliate of the Detroit Tigers. Yeah, the Detroit Tigers. What am I saying? I almost said Detroit Lions. Sorry, the Detroit Tigers have a minor league team, whatever, in Lakeland, Florida. I'm butchering my words. So anyway, the Florida State League, this minor league baseball league, wraps up around this time of the year, and it just so happens that the Lakeland Flying Tigers, the Detroit Tigers affiliate team, were in the final round or the playoffs, or so to speak, of this minor league baseball division. And so I was like, you know what, it'd be fun to go these last couple days. They were playing the Daytona Tortugas, which is a Cincinnati Reds affiliate team, and it was like the World Series of this division of minor league baseball. And so I went to those last couple games, and last Wednesday night, the final game of the season was played, in which the Lakeland Flying Tigers not only won, but took home the title, the winner of the, I forget what they call it. It's like the winning game series, whatever. They swept the Daytona Tortugas two games. Third game was not necessary. And anyway, they won the series, and it was awesome. And I got to see like the team freak out, and they got the trophy, and the coach and the team owner were there, and everyone was like, "We're some great honor." And you know, it's an audience of like 80 people because it's minor league baseball, and it was awesome. I had a great time. So I was going to those baseball games after work for a couple nights in a row. And on the last night, I was feeling so high. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Lakeland Tigers won. We did it. On my way home, I was like, you know what? Girlfriend's not home right now. I didn't eat. I just left work and drove straight to this game. I'm a little hungry. Probably should eat some food. I was like, you know what? This is my toxic trait. There's something about like baseball, you know, going to a baseball game that like makes me want to eat like burgers and milkshakes kind of thing. So I made the poor choice of stopping by a Steak and Shake drive-thru on my way home after the baseball game, and I got myself a whatever the fuck it was, like a double cheeseburger or whatever, with an M&M's milkshake. And here's the thing is, I gotta say, at the ripe age of 30, Steak and Shake still, as the kids would say, slaps. Steak and Shake is delicious. I loved it then. I love it now. I omitted the fries. I just got the burger and the shake. That's how you make healthy decisions as an adult. But dude, that fucking double cheeseburger, so classic. Double cheeseburger, 2 slices of cheese. You get the onions, the raw onions. You get the mayonnaise on there. You get the pickles. Just keep it simple, right? And then the M&M's milkshake with the whipped cream and the cherry on top. So fucking effective. It's simple. It's classic. It's America at its best. I love Steak and Shake. I know it's just a chain restaurant, but I love the Americana diner feel of that place. I love that they haven't done that thing that every restaurant chain does. They haven't like millennial modernized with gray walls and just a soulless feel. Like Steak and Shake still feels like Steak and Shake when you go inside. So it was just a great time overall. And I loved the game. I loved the food. But the next day I woke up and went to work, and I didn't feel sick. It wasn't like, oh, I got diarrhea or I feel gross or like I'm going to puke or something like that. But it was just like my body was just like, yo, you're going to get fat now. Like your belt's not going to fit quite as well as it did today, because you had a double cheeseburger and an M&M milkshake at 9:30 at night on a Tuesday after watching a minor league baseball game alone in Lakeland, Florida. And I'm like, yeah, consequences. That makes sense. Like I have to own that. That's a poor decision I made, and now I have to suffer those consequences. But here's the thing, like I feel like most people my age, I don't know, maybe you just get swept away by like the young people out there that are obsessed with like fitness and like protein, and you know the types, those guys that listen to Joe Rogan and they go to the gym 7 times a week and they fucking eat nothing but protein, brown rice and steak and chicken, and it's just all protein for them, and they care about the macros and all that. It's like maybe that culture is toxic, and it's just made me think that everyone's being healthier than myself. But I look at myself, I'm just like, how at 30 am I still getting duped into pulling into the Steak and Shake drive-thru at 9:30 at night on a Tuesday, when other guys my age are like super fit and like they went to the gym, they ate just 40 pounds of chicken breasts and then went to bed on a treadmill or something. It's like, so I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, got to get it together, man. You're 30 years old, and I'm pretty good. I eat most of my meals at home. We eat home cooked meals mostly. And I try, my big kryptonite. My kryptonite is portion control. It's not really what I eat; it's how much I eat. And so I know that about myself. But like, for example, I'm about to go on this trip this weekend. My girlfriend and I were flying out to Boston on Saturday morning, and I don't give a shit about, like, she wants to go see fall leaves, and she wants to go see Salem, and she wants to see Concord, and she wants to see New England in the fall. I don't give a shit about any of that, man. I just want to watch the Red Sox because we're going to go to a game at Fenway. We're going to go to the last game of the season. And I want to go to fucking Boston's Chinatown and eat the hell out of some fucking delicious Chinese food. That's all I care about. That's all I'm looking forward to this whole trip. And I just think about it, and it's like, I know as soon as I get off that plane, my brain's going to go into that, you're on vacation mode. And then I'm going to put on like 17 pounds over the course of 5 days. Just in nothing particular. I hate the North. I hate those Yankees. I'm just going to gain 17 pounds in harbor tea and in lobster rolls or something. Like, what's going on here? But I know myself, and it's going to become a struggle the second I get over there. And so I don't know. It's, I don't really know where I'm going with this one other than to say, shout out to Steak and Shake. I don't know why you're so good, but you're still so fucking good and cheap after all these years. And then two, what it is it about, being in your 30s, it's like when you officially can't do the bullshit anymore. It's like, I can't justify eating this way. I can't do this for too much longer. But at the same time, it feels so good to be so wrong, Get the Chinese food. Go to Steak and Shake. Fuck your body. All right, guys, that's it for what I've been eating. Let's talk about what I've been playing. So, have I been playing lots of Black Ops 6 and Battlefield 2042? Yeah. But we won't talk about that because it's all I've been talking about lately. What I want to talk to you about is the new game I've been playing this weekend, which is Skate, the new early access Skate game. So I said last week, Skate is a game that I maybe played the demo of Skate 1 or 2 on the 360 way back in the day and was like, yeah, fuck this game. This game's not for me. I don't like it. It's too hard. It's too mechanically driven. I don't like it. But the new Skate game is so clearly trying to get people who were turned off by Skate in the past into this game, because the first thing it does when you boot it up is it's like, yo, if you played Skate back on the 360, choose this control format. Otherwise, literally everyone else, we got a new control scheme for you. And so I went with that control scheme, and the game is like it's so much more geared towards like trying to get Tony Hawk fans and casuals like myself into Skate now. And it largely succeeds because I feel like this game is so much easier to pick up and play and have fun with than how I remember Skate being back on the Xbox 360 all those years ago. Now, maybe it's just because I'm older and I have more of a knack for this or something. I doubt it. I think it's just that they made this game a lot more accessible to newcomers and that it's working on people like me. But I like this game. I don't love like the kind of aesthetic and premise where it's like the AI bot is like, what's up, skater? Let's shred around Vantown. Oh, it's definitely not San Francisco, USA, and everyone's just a skater, bro. And it's like, it's got like that thing to it that can't be like, how do you do, how do you do, kids, or whatever kind of thing going on to it. But it's fun. I like it. Like, obviously the game is free to play, so it's all based around profiting off microtransactions, customizing your character and your skateboard and designing everything. But like just playing around the game and taking on missions, it has this like open world kind of, you can hop off your skateboard. And I know it's controversial for a lot of people, but this new game really pushes parkour as this new mechanic where it's like, oh, there's a ramp or something on top of that rooftop. Why don't you jump on this clothesline and then crawl up the side of this building and pop through that window so you can get up here, and then you can skate off this building onto that ramp on the floor, so, whatever. And it's like kind of cool. It's ridiculous. It's over the top. It takes to an extreme level like what it would be like in real life if you were like, yo, let's skate that staircase or jump off that small building or something. It's like it takes that to the extreme with what you do in this game. It's like you're basically scaling skyscrapers and skydiving off like Spider-Man, trying to fucking land these cool skate moves. And it's ridiculous and corny and campy because it's a fucking skating video game, and it should be. And so I think this game's kind of cool. Like, I dig it from the perspective of how it feels and what you can do within it. But it doesn't like immediately capture me and make me like love it. It's like a game where like I'll play 20 minutes of it and then come back in a day or two and play 20 minutes more. Like, I don't think this is a game that's going to stick with me. but I definitely appreciate it and have had more fun and time spent with it than I ever did with any of the previous Skate games. And for that, I really appreciate this game. I do think it's cool. I like it. It does remind me a little bit of like the Tony Hawk's Underground games a little bit, where it's more open world like, but it is a live service game as well. And for that, I think it's pretty fucking cool. Like I don't know, I like it. I'll play more and see what all this game has to offer over time. But for now, I'm just kind of dabbling with Skate, and I'm having a decent time. I don't think it's great. It's in early access. It doesn't look the best. It doesn't run the best, but it's serviceable, and I'm enjoying it. So that's really it for what I've been playing. And I kind of recommend Skate if you like skate culture, or you like the previous Skate games or Tony Hawk games. I'd recommend giving it a try just to see if maybe it's up your alley. If you like physics-based games, I think this is a game worth giving a try. So anyway, that's it for what I've been playing, guys. Let's wrap up the show now. I'm pretty fucking tired. So let's wrap up with a couple comments. YouTube.com, Xbox On Podcast. Click on the latest episode. Drop a fucking comment. Do what you want. So we got ourselves like 5 or 6 write-ins here. So let's just go in no particular order. Starting with Decoy Doctopus, who writes in and says, you touched on this a bit. I think it's a good thing that developers have to make their games run on the Series S. It makes the games more optimized on beefier hardware like Series X. I choose, and you just say, separate from that, I choose the Nashville Predators as my team because they were the closest team to me, Memphis. We were historically bad last season, so we can only go up from here. The Predators are usually a pretty solid team, right? They're a pretty middle of the pack team. Yeah, I think optimizing games for the Series S is a good thing. I think having a large swing of hardware SKUs that you can develop for is a good thing, especially for PC, trying to get your games to be optimized on PC so that even like mid-range PCs and stuff can run games quite well. Because I think it's kind of nonsense, this idea that you always have to have the beefiest fucking hardware in a world where like you can have a 6-year-old iPhone that runs just as fine as the newest iPhone. I don't see why we have to have every fucking video game be optimized for only the most powerful console. Come on, man. Games don't even do that much or look that much better to justify that needing to be the case. I understand why I can't plug a Nintendo GameCube game into my N64. I understand why Halo 3 doesn't run on my original Xbox. I don't really understand why we can't get 99% of games that are on the Xbox Series X running on an Xbox One. Games just aren't doing that much more these days, it seems. But I could be incredibly wrong. What do I know? Decoy Doctopus, have a great week, and go Preds. Good for you. Yeah, I guess I'm going half Mammoth, half Lightning this season. I'm excited. Listen, I'm trying to enjoy that. This is our last weekend before the Rays are out, before it's over for the Rays. And then, whatever. I'll kind of tune into the World Series, but then I'm ready for hockey. I'm ready. All right, Compassionate Choice writes in and says, my favorite college sports team is now the Santa Rosa JC Polar Bears hockey team because I'm now on them. All right, Compassionate Choice, let's look these guys up. The Solar Bears, the Solar Bears is the Orlando minor league team. That's a Lightning affiliate, which I love those guys. They're a great team to watch. So yeah, the Santa Rosa JC Polar Bears hockey team. So you play for these guys? This is cool. I like this. This is awesome. Yeah, this looks very, very college. This is very, I don't know what the hell Santa Rosa SJW or whatever the fuck you're doing is, but that's awesome, man. You play hockey. Good for you. I hope you're loving it. I don't know how anyone plays fucking hockey. That's insane. Let's see. I can look at the roster here. Can I look up your name? I don't see Compassionate Choice LLC on this roster. You're full of shit, man. Stop lying. All right. OG Man writes in for the first time in a while and says, also, Jesse, I haven't listened much at all lately, so if you covered it, my bad, but I'm thinking of pulling the trigger on that new ROG Ally Xbox. I wanted to hear your thoughts. I just want to play Search and Destroy on COD laying down. Don't care for cloud gaming, and I like the Xbox controller aspect of it. It is awesome that you write in about this because I was playing around with my Logitech G Cloud this weekend, and while I intentionally never play first-person shooters on it because I know better than to play online competitive shooters on a streaming device, I was curious and was like, let me just play a round or two of Black Ops 6, a match or two on Black Ops 6 on my Logitech G Cloud just to see how far we've come. And oh my God, it was rough. I sucked so much ass. It was so bad. Yeah, I mean, if you want to run Twitch-based games natively on a handheld, something like the ROG Ally Xbox whatever is going to be a very compelling device, because you simply cannot do that with something like a Logitech G Cloud. And with a Steam Deck, it's like, I know people love the Steam Deck, but it's like, that is a device that will run games natively, but it kind of Frankensteins and shoehorns things into running on that device. Whereas the ROG Ally Xbox thing is going to be more of a native, authentic experience. So if you're looking for Call of Duty on the go, I think this is probably the de facto device to go to. And so for you, if that makes sense and you want to do it, and you have the financial ability to justify doing so, yeah, go for it, man. Make your wildest dreams come true. Be happy and have a great time. My personal thoughts, you asked what my personal thoughts are. I still think the ROG Xbox Ally is silly. I don't personally care for it at all. It is not an Xbox at all, and I have no desire to buy one. But I'm sure it feels ergonomically solid. It does look like it has some kind of Xbox feel to it. And again, you're looking to play something like Call of Duty natively on a handheld on the go. I think you probably should look pretty much no further than a device like this. It's exactly what it's designed for. Although people like myself and others want something that runs all of your Xbox library natively, not just some of it. But if you're looking for the latest and greatest games, a game like Call of Duty, it will ideally should look and run and play on that just fine from a native perspective. So, OG man, if you do pull the trigger on this device, let us know right in, because I will not be buying one of these. So I will be leaning on people like you to write in and let us know, how great is it? What are we missing out on? Tell us about it, because I'm definitely curious to hear from people like you about your thoughts on that device. Thanks for writing in, man. Dead Captain James writes in, says, no, because last week, I think my podcast title was like, are video games radicalizing us or making us violent or something like that? I literally just named it that to make it more clickbaity and to try and get some more engagement on the podcast. So whatever, I don't care. Of course I don't think that. But Dead Captain James replied and said, no, video games are not making us more violent. However, a certain politician most definitely is. It's no coincidence that things are getting more tense since he showed up 10 years ago. You don't fucking say, Dead Captain James. You don't fucking say. God. It's kind of the worst part about it, because you can only control what you can control, right? But the worst part about it is that the corporations and the politicians and the elites win. Every time we fight each other, every time we go to war with our neighbors, every time we divide ourselves and put ourselves in camps, whether it's us putting ourselves in camps or trying to separate ourselves from people we deem as enemies, every time we do that, they win a little bit more. They win a little more, and that's what they want. Distract you, keep you pissed off, keep you aggressive, keep you mad at your neighbor, so they can continue to fuck you, take your tax dollars, and serve their own special interests. So keep it going, Dead Captain James. Keep fucking going. No, I'm just kidding. Appreciate you as always. Thanks for writing in, man. I hope you have a great week and hope you're healing up nice and well. Our final inquiry or write-in comes from Mr. Proton Pack Guy, who actually owns a real Proton Pack. It's true. I've seen it. And he says, hey, Jesse, I've been meaning to comment for a minute about cloud gaming with Xbox. I've been diving back heavy into Fallout 4, and to my surprise, the game runs beautifully via streaming. The fact that I can pair my Xbox controller via Bluetooth to my LG OLED and just stream a massive game like this with no issues is very minimal slowdown during intensive sections, frankly astonishes me. Does it look or play better on the Series X? Of course. But being able to hook up and just play on a lot of TVs with no cords or console requires on a TV with no console required still is quite trippy to me. And the functionality of it is quite well executed currently. I'm not a fan of Xbox's decline, but seeing them embrace where the market is eventually heading might mean that they have the infrastructure in place for the late stage resurgence. You're way too old, Chuck E. Cheese partner in crime, Hunter. Thanks, Hunter, for writing in. Good to hear from you as always, bud. And that is the silver lining of it all, right? And I think you hit the nail on the head, because I'll do the two sides thing, because we all assume this is where it's headed, right? Because we talk about it with Xbox because we see Xbox headed there rapidly, faster than anyone expected, right? The console's going to be obsolete one day. Everyone's going to be streaming from some service provider, not from some hardware device, and it's just going to be a generic controller connected to some device with a network card and a screen, and you're going to play video games via streaming, because streaming technology will be so good that latency will be so minimal that you can play a game like Call of Duty streamed to your TV and not notice the difference and have it not impair your ability to perform as you would had you been running the game natively. So that is the inevitable future that we all seem to unanimously agree we're headed towards. It seems like that is the general consensus. However, PlayStation hasn't shown really much or any sign of reaching that quote unquote inevitable future anytime soon. And so I think the fact that PlayStation seems relatively still firmly in the typical realm of, we have our closed ecosystem, we make games for our platform, people buy our platform to play our games exclusively on our console, and they play other third-party content, and they spend money on in our ecosystem on our games, and they play games natively on the device. The fact that they still have that kind of status quo situation going, even though they've shown some cracks, some chinks in the armor with their PC support and games like Horizon Lego being on Switch and stuff like that, and bringing Helldivers to Xbox for experimentational purposes. We've seen those cracks in the foundation. And maybe, just maybe, that's a look into the inevitable future PlayStation's headed in, which will be akin to where Xbox is going. It still just feels like Xbox is accelerating themselves to this inevitable future. It's almost like the pilot has realized there's a malfunction in the engine, and the plane is going to go down. No one is feeling it yet. No one knows it in the cab. None of the passengers know. But the pilot knows, hey, there's something wrong with the engine, and we're going to have to put this fucking plane down. And Xbox is in that same situation, and they're going, all right, the plane is going down. Fuck it. And they're nose diving into the ground. They're going 1,000,000 miles an hour, and they're saying, let's fucking be done with it. We're all dead. Let's just fucking end it. And they're just diving straight for the goddamn ground. And all the passengers are on board going 90-degree angle straight down to the ground, flipping out and screaming their heads off. But PlayStation's plane is like, the guy's like, we're going down. And so, in a flight stewardess or someone overheard the pilot talking to the co-pilot and was like, holy shit, something's going on. And there's murmurings on the plane. But most people on that plane think that they're on a regular flight and things are going to continue status quo, just unchanged, same as always. It just feels like PlayStation is kind of playing it cool, trying to run things as normally as they can and figure out ways to sustain the status quo as much as they can while somewhat in the background preparing for the future. Whereas Xbox is just like, fuck it, we're going down. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Let's fucking kamikaze this bitch. So it does feel like that is kind of the compare and contrast in these situations. Yet at the end of the day, we do kind of suspect that both of these planes are going to end up in some fucking New York tower at some other fucking point in time. And there's going to be flames and stuff everywhere and government conspiracies. So is the technology cool? It's fucking awesome. I love it. I'm glad you're experiencing and you're loving it too, because I love hearing other people experience how awesome cloud streaming is. It's a cool experience. I love my Logitech G Cloud, not just because it feels like a great handheld to hold and play, but as long as I'm not playing like a twitchy online first-person shooter, I am consistently impressed every time I use that device with just how well it works. If I'm playing a third-person action game or a story game or something slower paced, just any kind of run-of-the-mill game, I'm so impressed with how that thing handles and feels and looks and everything. And it's great, whether you're doing it on your TV or a handheld device or whatever. It's the technology is great, and I think it's a feature that's worth a lot. My girlfriend's sister was over a couple weeks ago, and she was on my Xbox just playing around, fucking around with Game Pass. She's a PlayStation player, so she's just playing around Game Pass, like exploring all these games she can just try because it's there in Game Pass. And I was like, you don't even have to, she was downloading a couple of games. I was like, you don't even have to download them. If there's something you want to play and you don't want to wait for the download, just hit that cloud icon and you can just play the game immediately. And if you like it a lot, you can download it later. And she's like, oh, cool. And then she just ended up playing like 6 or 7 different games that night on my Xbox because You just want to dick around and see what all there was on offer. And I think like features like that, or the ability to, oh, my Xbox is at home, but I'm at a buddy's house, I'm going to stream from their TV, or, oh, I'm watching football, but I'm going to play this game on my handheld device while I sit on the couch. Like, those scenarios are fucking awesome. Great use cases, really cool stuff. No doubt about it. Still, Xbox is sabotaging their hardware, and it's really, really disheartening to watch it happen as we all stand here on the sidelines. So the two things are both true, and it's just it is what it is, and we all just have to kind of live with it and make our own peace with the situation. But Mr. Proton Pack guy, I appreciate you writing in. Appreciate you as always. Hope you're doing well. Captain James, OG Man, Compassionate Choice, and D-Cock, Octacock. I hope you guys are all well. I hope you have a great day, great week, and that you are also excited for Battlefield 6, Black Ops 7 beta, the new Yellow Card record, and Tron Ares. So let's all get hyped for the things I'm excited for. But silliness aside, I just, be well, enjoy yourselves. Life is short. Eat steak and shake while you can. And until next week, power your dreams, y'all.